Oh, and mine's and jellyfish. Welcome back to Knives, I guess. And you know what you call imaginary lipstick? Part of your psychological makeup. Please laugh at that. It was funny. But do me a favor and hit that like button or the terrorists win. And we've got another Ozark Trail knife. Let's get into this thing. Gimme. Time. Okay, so we have the Ozark Trail Elevation Button Lock Knife. Let's take a look at what we're holding, because it'll bother you if I don't. And you know I'm too kind to you. So, first things first, and most importantly, the pocket clip is tip up, which is the Lord's carry. It's reversible. We got the OD Green G10 here. We got a button lock, and we got a thumb stud. Let's flick the stud. And we got right about 3 1/4 inches of 12C27 steel. Okay, so one of the first things that really stands out to me and grabs my attention on this thing is this right here. I love pops of color like this on knives. That's part of what sold me on the Wording was the pops of red on that one. I like the orange against the green, and I like having a lanyard hole, so props to them for doing that. You know, the one on the Valor is black on blue, which, who cares? Another black knife part. But the orange anodizing on what I assume is aluminum here is really nice. But, yeah, like this was online and available for purchase the same time I purchased this one. And I was like, you know what? I'll worry about it later. I don't want to throw the money at it. And as soon as I hit order, I was like, wait a minute. I could have gotten rid of the shipping cost and gotten this for a little bit cheaper than both of them separately. Oh, well, it was too late. So I ended up spending a few days refreshing the Walmart page again and again and again every few hours whenever I had a chance to stop and look at it until one popped up that I could buy. Thankfully, it was a local Walmart delivery and they didn't send it FedEx, so it actually showed up. If you guys are new here with the Dropout, all right, I bought 3 of these when they first showed up at Walmart. I mean, like the day they showed up at Walmart the first time. And went through and tested them and all that. And then the second run of them, I tried to order some of those. I ordered like 2, I think, and then tried to cancel my order and order some more of them to cut the shipping costs and have some giveaway stuff. And they wouldn't cancel the first order, and they had the second order in, and they sent it FedEx, and it never showed up. FedEx said delivered. They were not at my doorstep. It took forever to get some of the second run on them, and those second runs wound up being absolute garbage, but we'll get to that in a few minutes. You know, so I'm just happy they were shipped locally. But the one thing that I really don't know much of anything about is the 12C27 steel. I have never heard of that, and let's get this out of the way. For you new faces here, I have never claimed to be an expert. I'm not an expert. I don't know everything. I'm just a guy dicking around with these knives and having fun learning about them while I do it. So I don't know anything about 12C27. There's a really good chance it's basically a much better known steel with a trench coat and a fake mustache going by a different name. God knows this happened enough times where I'm always a little bit leery of budget steels and finding out it's just another steel under a different name available from a different country than China, basically. Like if it's from China, it'll have a letter and number designation like HCR13 or something like that, and then coming from another country, it'll have an actual name like Almax or something like that. I think, what is it, Bowler K110 is D2 from a different country. I believe I'm right on that, but that's kind of how that works. The only thing I really know about 12C27 is what I saw in a Reddit post, so take that with a grain of salt. But what I saw was 12C27 had only shown up on premium knives and never on anything budget until now. So that's the only thing I know about it, and I could be very, very wrong. Like I said, that's just what I saw on a Reddit post, and that's all I know about it. If one of you guys in the comments knows something about this stuff, please let us know. KO Knives, I'm looking at you, buddy. But let us know what there is with the 12C27 that I don't know. So, like, I'm thoroughly impressed here. I am thoroughly impressed here. Like I said, the button lock, I will say, like, I'm not the best in the world with button locks. Me and button locks have a bit of a history. There are some button locks out there where I have no problem with. However, there are a lot of button locks where, and this thing does centrifugal open, which makes me very, very happy. But there's a lot of button locks where I close it too hard and it bounces back open. This one is nowhere near as bad as some other ones have been. I will give it credit there. It's nowhere near as bad. Like the Civivi Cogent, God, that was impossible to time. And it's entirely my fault. This is entirely a me issue. I like to close things a little bit too hard, and like my timing on the button isn't perfect, but you know, when I carry them for a few days, that normally settles down and I'm right in the groove there and I don't have any problems anymore. But that's on me. I just closed them too hard and I know it. But yeah, so like, and here's the thing, is when Walmart released this guy right here, you know, the QC was all over the map. If you got a good one, you got an outrageous value. However, if you got a bad one, you got an absolute donkey. I am still disappointed at how bad the quality control actually ended up being, because this thing was an absolute performer. It did amazingly well, and then the second and third generation of them, absolute dog's eggs. Like those things can... I don't have words that I want to use on camera for it, but they are terrible. Could not put an edge on them. They could not hold an edge for more than about 5 minutes cutting up cardboard, if that. So, yeah, I mean, the quality control is disappointing. I'm hoping now that they're stepping their game up with some stuff like this, you know, and bumping up the price tag to 20 bucks, that the quality control is going to be there. So if if this is good steel and it holds a good edge, then you'll know if you're buying one, you're probably going to get good steel with a good edge. You know, occasionally, even from reputable companies, you'll get an absolute donkey that bad heat treatment or bad edge or something like that, or, you know, the parts don't fit together. But the fit and finish on this feels really solid. It feels like whoever they had to OEM these is way better than whoever OEM these. I mean, for 10 bucks, again, when you get a good one, screaming value, but you got like mismatched colors on your scales. You got some fit and finish issues with some of them. Some of them, the axis locks aren't quite right. A lot of problems. So I'm hoping this is part of a trend that's going to continue now that Walmart's naming knives. They bumped the price up to like, I think 23 bucks on this, somewhere around there. Because like with shipping and everything, I paid 33 for this. That was with the shipping and the price of the knife. But yeah, hopefully the quality continues to come up. This thing is very cool. The build quality is there. Everything seems to be there. I just don't know about the steel. And, you know, like I pushed this really hard when it came out because it did so well for me, and then the quality control dropped so bad that I felt bad about pushing it, but you can't really put that genie back in the bottle. You know, you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. So during later videos, after I got the second and third generation, I was like, hey, I pushed these things really hard, but they're crap now. Maybe hold off on buying 7 at a time. So, you know, kind of back on track here, yeah. I want to know more about the 12C27 and whether or not that's supposed to be some really good steel. Because like this, and by the way, guys have been making fun of me for not being able to get this thumb stud to cooperate. You have no idea how overpowered the detent was. I'm getting it broken in now, so it's fine. Now that it's broken in, it's good. It's starting to centrifugal open like I like. It's breaking in. But you guys have been making fun of me for that thing being as overpowered as it was. Like, it was damn near locked shut. Like, you basically almost could not open it one-handed without the axis lock. You stop making fun of me. I'm at home. Home is safe, you guys. But, yeah, and the one thing that I am looking forward to seeing with this and this is what happened with this. When the hype train left the station and everybody went nuts for it, an interesting thing started happening when guys would pick them up and post them in groups on Facebook and Reddit and stuff like that, where the guys that hated those things came out in numbers just complaining so hard. You know, it's like somebody walked up and then dropped a bag of spiders in their underwear, how much they were complaining and taking it so personally. I want to see that happen again with these so badly. I want to see it again. It was so much fun reading those comments. It really was. I kind of want these to become the most annoying knives on the internet for a little while. That'd be so nice. But, yeah. The focus is on this thing, and, like, I am excited about the 12C27. I am looking forward to carrying this thing and seeing how it does. Of course, we're going to do the pre-carry video in a couple weeks when I get to it. We're going to do the video seeing how it did being carried. We're going to do Cardboard Slayer. We're going to do all the things. Cardboard Slayer is the most interesting thing. I love testing an unfamiliar steel on Cardboard Slayer, so I'm looking forward to this. I'm hoping for good edge retention, like 14C yeah, 14C. Sorry, 14C we've done before. We know what to expect with that. You know, good balance of edge retention, toughness, and ease of sharpening. It's right there in the butter zone. I like a little bit more edge retention, like with some good D2 that's been heat treated well, but the 14C, not too shabby. I like it. But the 12C27, like I said, I am excited to see how that does. Excited to see how easily it sharpens too, and what kind of an edge it can take, because there are some steels out there that I can get down, like I've gotten some steels down below 100 on the sharpness tester, which, speaking of which, let's get the sharpness tester out. This video is getting long in the tooth, but I forgot to do this. This was provided by you guys through your channel memberships and super chat donations and what have you, so thank you so much for the support. I will always be grateful. And if you haven't seen one of these before, by some odd miracle, how it works is it measures the number of grams of force it takes to cut through the wire in this calibrated test clip. The lower the number, the better. I have already done 2 takes, and I've seen 2 different numbers on 2 different parts of the blade. So we're going to see what we get off of this right here. 213. All right, so I have seen a 188 and a 225, somewhere in that window. So the 213, that's not shabby, that's not terrible for a factory edge. God knows I've seen a lot worse. That does inspire a little bit of confidence, getting it down below 200 in one spot. You know, that gives me a little bit of confidence. The stuff that's had terrible heat treatments and just couldn't hold an edge, normally those hit about 300 to 350 on the factory edge. So this getting below 200 in one spot tells me, 1, the factory edge is probably inconsistent, which is to be expected from Ozark Trail. It's not consistently sharpened down the whole length of it. But 2, getting down below 200, this tells me there's a really good chance the heat treatment's decent on it at the very least, and it should be able to take a good edge. And this is just going off what I've learned from personal experience with that sharpness tester and edge retention testing. So hopefully that's a good sign. I want this thing to do well, but if it doesn't do well, oh God, I am going to show no mercy whatsoever. So that's everything I wanted to talk about with this thing and show you guys. So all that being said, thanks for looking at my crap. Subscribers, you guys are awesome. Y'all keep coming in. I appreciate you so, so much. If you haven't subscribed, please do. We got live streams, regular videos. There's plenty of activities. Comments, I love some feedback. Let me know what you think about this thing. Will it be the most annoying knife on the internet? If you know something helpful about the 12C27, please enlighten me. I would greatly appreciate it. But all that being said, y'all have a nice day.